are killing Christians in Nigeria. Massacre Christians.
One small state, 2 decades of fire, different years, different victims, the same story, told one side at a time. Every community remembers who buried their dead and forgets who buried them. This is not about sides. It's about how half a truth becomes fuel for the next fire. In Plateau State, pain runs deep. In towns like Barkin Ladi, loss is not a headline, it's lived experience. This is where Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo comes from, a Baram pastor, a father, a man shaped by funerals, fire, and faith. In October 2025, as graves filled and fear returned, Dachomo rose. His voice rang out from pulpits and burial grounds, but it didn't stop there. His sermon went viral. Across social media, one message echoed: Christians are being exterminated. Many believed him, and for some it was the first time they had heard the pain of the Barom, raw and unfiltered. The grief was real, the dead were real, and the loss unbearable. But in that same October, something else happened, something few headlines mentioned. A Fulani boy, just 13 years old, was killed. 36 cattle were slaughtered, and 49 others stolen. And Fulani families grieved quietly.
The attackers had several cattle. We were grazing with 85 cattle when the government opened fire on us. The father of the deceased also recounted how he received the devastating news. I was in the cattle market when I was informed that my son and our cattle had been shot dead. The rest of the cattle were rustled. There was no justification for the attack because there was no incident of farm destruction of cattle. Some were killed while others were taken away.
Many believe this incident sparked retaliation. Some say it was the trigger for the next attack on Barom communities. Others claim the Fulani were only responding to earlier aggression. In Plateau, everyone has a reason, and no one agrees on who struck first. Macban held a press conference. They accused the Plateau State government of excluding Fulani victims from its conflict reports. Over 11,000 killed, the official figures said, but not one Fulani name listed. 2 communities, 2 kinds of pain, but only one was trending. In this land, everyone mourns, but not every story is told. Reverend Dachomo's words moved thousands, but grief can be powerful and sometimes selective. What he didn't say matters. What he left out shaped the story. Before we follow the fire of his sermon, we must ask, what came before it? On March 7, 2010, Dogo Nahawa, a massacre that stunned the world. Over 500 mostly Christian villagers killed in their sleep. Women, children, entire families. In the years that followed, voices like Reverend Dachomo would cite this day as irrefutable proof of a religious war, of Christian genocide. Because the victims were mostly Barom, mostly Christian. Their deaths heartbreaking, their stories unforgettable.
If my government is denying genocide, what would they say about this? United Nations, European Union, take note. This is the genocide of people that were killed on the fateful day of 7 March 2010. Massacre at Dogo Nahawa, Plateau State. Names of big victims that were killed.
But Dachomo's sermon left something out, something that matters. Not to erase pain, but to complete the picture. Just 2 months earlier, in January 2010, a deadly riot broke out in Jos North, in the Nasarawa Gwong area. This time, the victims were different. January 17th, a Sunday morning. According to Human Rights Watch and multiple civil society reports, violence reignited between Christian and Muslim mobs. There are conflicting accounts of what triggered it. Some say it started with an argument over the rebuilding of a Muslim home destroyed in the 2008 riots in a predominantly Christian area. Others claimed it began when Muslim youths attacked Christian worshippers. Muslim leaders denied this. What's undisputed, however, is what came next. 3 days of bloodshed. Dozens killed on both sides. 5,000 people displaced. Homes, cars, churches, and mosques burned and looted. Human Rights Watch also documented credible reports of excessive force by the military and police, sometimes worsening the killings, and then a massacre of at least 150 Muslim residents. Witnesses interviewed by Human Rights Watch said that groups of armed men attacked the largely Muslim population of Kuru Karama around 10 a.m. on January 19, 2010. After surrounding the town, they hunted down and attacked Muslim residents, some of whom had sought refuge in homes and a local mosque, killing many as they tried to flee and burning many others alive. The witnesses said they believed members of the armed groups to be Christians.
This is the right time for them to bring an end to this type of, because this is massacre, this is massacre, this is massacre. We don't know why, no. What did we do? What have we done? Why? No, it's terrible. This is my wife. You can see her. Look at her. No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
The victims here are Muslims, mostly from the Hausa tribe. Villagers claim the killers were Christians from the Biram tribe.
One Muslim leader recalled, in 2001, they didn't kill women, they didn't kill children, but this crisis they have killed women and children. A Barom woman who was married to a Muslim man and converted to Islam said that 2 Barom men, whom she knew, killed 2 of her children. I was in my house around 10 a.m. and I heard people shouting that the Barom people had come to attack us. They surrounded us and started killing people and burning houses. Some of them know that I am Barom. I was begging them that they shouldn't kill me. Then one of them said they will kill my children because their father is a Muslim, and if they killed them, I would become a Christian. They collected 2 of my children from my hand and killed them in front of me. One of the men had a big stick and hit my baby boy on his head. Another man with a cutlass hit my girl on her hand and neck. I started crying. I couldn't look at it. I didn't want to see the children, Dede. I was begging them, and they left me with my 2 other children. Her story was not the only one. Another victim, Mohammed Ojo, a driver for Nigeria's ambassador, called Plateau's attorney general, begging for help as mobs surrounded Kuru Karama. Witnesses said the official, a member of the state's Security Council, replied that there was nothing he could do. Moments later, the line went dead. Ojo's body was later found among dozens dumped in the village wells. The violence didn't stop at Kuru Karama. On that same day, January 19, 2010, armed Baram groups attacked several other Hausa Fulani and Fulani communities across Jos South, Barkin Ladi, and Riom. Human Rights Watch documented these coordinated assaults and described them as ethnic cleansing of rural Fulani. In Tim Tim, witnesses said Christian Barom men attacked the Hausa Fulani residents, burning their homes and returning the next morning to kill the remaining people. A local leader counted 78 dead, mostly men. 2 years later, not one Hausa Fulani family had returned. In Sababon Gidan Kanar, attackers set houses ablaze after luring residents with false assurances of peace. One man who lost his mother and 3 relatives recalled begging his Christian neighbors, "Our fathers were born here. We were born here. How can you join them to kill us?" They replied, "Your people in Jos killed our people in Jos. That is why we are going to kill you." At least 62 Muslims were killed, including 10 children. In Sabon Gidan Forum, Barom attackers entered at dusk, burning Muslim homes and mosques. A local leader said about 50 were killed and there are now no Muslims living there. In Dogo Nahawa, the same village Dachomo would later cite as proof of Christian genocide, 35 Hausa Fulani were killed in January 2010, weeks before the March 7th massacre. A Muslim witness told Human Rights Watch he returned under military escort only to find his grandmother's decomposing body. He said, "Most of the Hausa houses were burned. None of us have gone back, cross Jos South, Barkin Ladi, and Riom. Dozens of Fulani hamlets were also attacked between January 19th and 21st. Entire settlements were burned, cattle stolen, men, women, and children killed." Fulani leaders later reported 209 deaths across 14 villages, including 112 in Barkin Ladi and 81 in Jos South. In Raber and Bere Riti, 8 men were killed. In Rahe and Budung, 22 and 33 victims respectively, many burned alive, others shot or stabbed. In Kori, 17 Fulani were killed, including the witness's brother. In Kogot, 9 more. In Sagas, 10 more. And in Fogawa, attackers killed 7, including a father and his 2 young sons, burned alongside their home. 2 years later, survivors said they still saw their loved ones' killers freely walking the markets of Mangu. By the time the smoke cleared, over 300 Muslims and Fulani killed. Many burned in mosques, homes, or fields. No one was prosecuted. No justice was served. By February, retaliatory whispers had turned into planned vengeance. Dogo Nahawa was not a random target. Several eyewitnesses and investigators, including the Human Rights Watch, BBC, and Al Jazeera, described the 7th March attack as a retaliatory strike. Is March 7th, 2010 a tragedy? Absolutely. But to tell it without January is to tell a half story. And a half story told with full conviction is how fear grows, how hatred spreads, how peace dies.